Well, actually, if I wasn't in this business, what I would start selling is I would sell houses to divorced men, and this is what they would be. It'd be a 1 or 2 car garage, depending on how you did in the divorce.
Right.
And then up top would just be this sick-ass place, perfect for, like, flat-screen TV to the couch, and then behind that is, like, your bed, and then there's a little bar area.
Yeah.
You know, depending, you could, like, it was a big enough, like a mini loft above it. And, because every guy before they got married, that's what they had.
Right.
You had that apartment.
Yeah, I did, actually. I remember my apartment before.
Yeah, your Xbox.
Yep.
You had your bottles of booze. And you were fine.
Well, the thing about the bottles of booze, to be fair, you're
an alcoholic, right?
Right, so I can either have
You can't
booze.
handle it.
No, I can't.
They pulled you out of the game.
Well, here's the thing. I can
I'm
either
still
have
playing.
booze or an apartment. I can't have booze.
Oh, okay.
I can either have...
Whatever you're into. Your vitamin waters.
Yeah, coconut water, vitamins, vegetables.
Sure. I am a big believer on having your own little house next to the big one that
No,
she
it's good.
gets.
I like this. I wasn't going to do a daily show again. I felt like I'd covered that ground.
And she doesn't have keys to it.
Yes,
that's it.
Yeah, she does.
I know she does.
Yeah,
and
she
no matter
does.
what, no matter how big that house is on the hill,
Yeah.
no matter how many pairs of shoes, how much fun she's having, at some point she has to come down and stick her fucking head in here.
I didn't know you knew her.
I don't know why. You could be, honey, this thing is 90,000 square feet. I have 1,500. This is a studio, and they would have to come down
that's right.
to see what it is.
Yeah, what's going
It's what
on.
makes them great mothers.
Yeah.
It's what makes them so, like, drives you nuts.
What's going on? I just thought, come down and say hi.
What are you doing down here?
What's going on here?
So, like, what? You're gonna have your vitamin waters and your coconut?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. I'm just having a good time. What's wrong? I'm not doing anything. There's no girls here. What's going on?
You don't want me to come down?
Yeah, I'm just watching some sports. I don't even watch sports, but I'm just watching sports.
Hey, I like sports.
Well, come on in. I'm just watching.
It's over. It's over. Then she's there.
Yeah.
And then she's going to start leaving shit behind.
Yeah.
Like she did before you.
Right before when you had your apartment.
Stake your claim.
How long you been married?
3.5 years.
Oh.
But I've been with my wife for a long time.
Yeah, you guys been together a long time though, right?
Yeah.
Did it change?
We
though,
were the
when you-
number 2 couple in L.A. for the longest time.
Really?
According to Sirius, yeah.
Now you're just saying that.
No,
Now, you
that's
can't
true.
prove that. So, did it change your relationship though when you get married? Did it make it? Because you
I quietly freaked out.
Did you really?
Because the finality of it, even if you have a prenup, even if you have any of that BS, they trample that in court.
Sure.
They don't care. You got a dick. Sit down. Shut up. This is how it's going. That's how it works, right? So there was that moment. But then what I had to do was I had to mentally go back to that guy that was in the 1,500 square foot apartment that was fine and was happy. And I started looking around. I used to do a bit about this, how I just mentally let go of everything in my house. I really started looking at it. I started in the kitchen. I was going through the drawers. I was just muttering to
So you
myself.
did like an emotional prenup for yourself?
Yeah, I just was. Like, what, you want all these whisks? I don't give a shit about this. I'll stir my eggs up with a fork. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know that I owned any kind of kitchen implement other than, a can opener until I was married. Like, I didn't have machines to mix food into paste with other bits of food.
I wasn't that guy. That's why I only had roommates for a short period of time. That whole thing of guys living like animals.
No, I didn't live like an animal.
Slice.
but
Oh yeah, you did. You did.
Why are you doing this to me, Bill? Why?
No, I was just like, it got to the point of like, obviously when I first moved out, I did the whole thing. It's a chair. Now it's a table, and everything was like interchangeable and, being afraid to order food and take a cab was a big, big luxury and all that type of stuff. And then as I started to get a little, money in the business, I made sure that, even if I had, I was living in New York, so you're only going to be so comfortable. I just made sure that like the kitchen was a big thing for me where I was just like, I want to be able to, if I want to make a nice meal, I would like to every once in a while be able to do that.
Do you do that still?
Yeah.
Well, you actually cook?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I got a good
chop
butcher.
up the vegetables. You got a nice bit of meat there.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm a big,
pussy.
Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes guy. That's what I meant.
No, pussy.
All right.
That might be the funniest thing that's going to be said on this, so you might want to wrap that up. That's fucking hilarious.
All right.
I'm a big, and I paused perfectly, lobbed it over.
Pussy. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back.
That's going to be the favorite part of this podcast for my wife to listen to.
Welcome back to the show. I'm just at the times at the moment. It is 2 minutes past 4 in Los Angeles, 2 minutes past 6 in Chicago. It is 2 minutes past 7 in New York City, and it is 2 minutes past midnight in the beautiful town of Bill?
Glasgow,
Scotland. You ever played there?
Sure.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've been there a number of times.
Where did you play in Glasgow?
The King's Theatre.
Yeah, I've done that theatre.
Yeah, did that
right,
one,
yeah.
and I've been there like twice, and then one time I went to Edinburgh for the
festival.
But I was only there for 2-3 days. 2-3 days. I didn't have to do the marathon, walking the street with the sandwich board, the slave labor.
Yeah,
I don't know what goes on over there.
That's for the kids. The kids do that.
Oh, the kids do. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of happy faces. Everybody didn't have their red noses on.
That's a different thing.
Making people walk in the streets like that.
People do walk in the streets.
They're comedians. They're supposed to have the day off.
You know, that's when comedians become comedians, when they're out there leafletting, catfishing.
Sitting there, what are they supposed to do? They got to be a comedian and the promoter?
Yeah.
What kind of operation are we running over there, huh? Well, I blame you. I think you set up the whole
Why are you
festival.
starting this again, Bill, with that? You Hollywood elites.
You know what it is? You became the number 2 radio program on Sirius, and it went to your fucking head.
It did.
That's what happened.
Did. And you know what? I've become one of those guys. I don't do my own leafleting. Yeah. In fact, I don't leaflet anymore.
I never met you before, and I don't even know who you are anymore.
So, what's your, do you ever
There's no reason to reach. If you don't have any more questions
No,
for me.
I don't. I do have one. I do have.
So, you ever rake some leaves in the fall?
Did you ever rake leaves?
I did. I had business.
Well, you're from New England. That's probably a big thing for you guys.
Of course we did. You raped them onto a top.
Rake leaving.
Yeah, and then you threw it over your neighbor's yard that you didn't like.
Do you ever play the Comedy Works in Denver?
Of course.
That to me is the best club in America.
You know the one that I love the best?
What?
That recently closed was the Punchline in Atlanta. It's now reopened, but they lost the lease to their first place.
I don't know that one. I never played that one.
It's because you're an elitist.
Oh, fuck you. Come on. I mean,
Comedy Works is beautiful.
Yeah.
They had all the green room, you know. They got the place where you can soak your feet. You weren't going to the Punchline in Atlanta.
Wait, the soak your feet part?
I
don't
remember.
That? No, they don't let you
You're
do
still
that.
an immigrant. We don't like you. No, the Punchline, it was just one of those places that I went on stage and it just, I don't know, it just felt right. Like I love the vibe of that. So I haven't been to the new one, but I love the owners. So, I'm going to try to get back to there at some point. But, I was definitely really sad when that thing closed down. I mean, that was one of the ones that went all the way back to like, even Eddie Murphy, I guess it did I guess he was already shooting movies at that time. Early in his career, came in and did a spot there. They had a picture of him on stage. And then they had all of these headshots from back in the day.
I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the chicken fingers coming out towards the end of or the bill comes out at the end of your set. Yeah. Chicken fingers at the beginning of your set. That smell of fried food and hatred in the air. Makes
Plus, the best thing ever is my favorite comedy clubs are the ones like the Comedy Works where you can get to the green room and they give you the option of whether you want to deal with the crowd or not. That's the greatest thing ever, to be able to walk off and you're right in the green room. You know, if no one wants to kill you, you can go out there and say hello to them. If you feel like you might get your teeth smashed in, you can hide in the green room.
You can hide in the green room.
I love that.
In Comedy Works, everybody that goes to that club knows exactly where the green room is. They're walking out by it as they go out. So get people back and they're going, what's the matter? Not coming out?
That's right.
Think you're better than us?
That's the
We know you're in there, Hollywood. Fuck you!
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
You're Hollywood elitist. Like, wait, if I'm a Hollywood elitist, what am I doing? Playing, the Works in Denver. It's the best one.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a short-lived comedy club in New York City called Comics that was like that. I don't know if you ever did that one.
I might have.
Yeah, it was down near the Meatpacking District.
Yeah.
It's since changed, but I think comedians had I don't know, but it was perfect. It was perfect. You got upstage. If you went right, you talked to the crowd. If you went left, you went down this hallway, and like there was no way. I guess people could run through the curtain and there's never any security, but they didn't know to do that. They didn't know where they were going.
What about Cobb's in San Francisco? You like that one? I quite like that because you go out the center, like the doors at the back of the stage, and you just walk right out the center of it, and you're right there. It's like the way I
like the Punchline a little better than that one.
Okay.
Because that was just one of the ones that was like a legend. I never really heard of Cobb, so that was one of the ones I want to say I saw it on TV.
Right.
When I used to see all those great San Francisco comics like Dana Carvey and Dana Gould and all those Danas that came out of there.
Mostly Danas.
Mostly Danas. All geniuses, all named Dana. And, that was a big competition. That was a big thing for me when I was coming up, the San Francisco comedy competition. Like, if you see like the winners and the runners up, I'm sure that information is somewhere on the internet. It's a lot of people went on to do a lot of great things.
Well, these comedy competitions, I have always kind of been slightly dubious of a comedy competition, though.
So you don't have any confidence.
You
can't get up there and just do your dick jokes better than other people?
No, I can't. I feel like it's not the right way to go about it.
All you have to do is be louder than someone else.
Oh, I can do
and
that.
And flap your hands around. You're guaranteed to make the finals. I built a whole career on that.
That was 10 years of late night for me. Cheeky monkeys, flop the hands off you go. That's it.
There you go.
I wouldn't do it.
I like how Bill's big concern about the comedy club, though, is not a place where you won't get beat up after most shows.
Yeah. Do you ever have a hard time with a
Sure.
crowd, Bill?
Yes.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Is there any record of that?
Yeah, and when the microphone's in your hand, you forget you don't know how to fight that well. Forget about take on 4 people at the same time. And then the second you put it in the stand, you become mortal again, like, wait a minute. I haven't had a fight since junior high.
One of my first gigs, I actually got into a fight with a guy. Like, a guy rushed the stage, and I hit him, and he fell.
And you started in Scotland.
Yeah, I know. That's what that kind of thing happens in Scotland.
Yeah.
So he runs, I hit him, he falls down, his friends are mad at me, I go back, and I don't know at this point that you can't continue the act once the fight has broken out with a member of the audience. I don't think anyone can win an audience back once you've assaulted one of them. I don't think it can be done. Oh, come on.
I've seen it.
Who did it?
Oh, what was his name?
Dave Attell? I don't believe you.
No. What was his name? It was a long time ago, and somebody came up on stage, and he knocked him out, and the guy, just literally hit him, and the guy just chin straight down and just sat down, and just like a scarecrow, like someone took the piece of wood out from behind him.
Oh, man.
And he's like, some people want to watch the show. Some people want to become part of the show. And then he continued to do the show. What was his name? And the crowd went,
God, that's impressive.
That is
the
really
guy
good.
was sitting there. What the hell was his name? I think it was, I don't want to get him in trouble.
Right.
I think it was this comic Scruncho.
Scruncho?
Yeah.
Was he a clown?
At one point, he did do like backflips and all that type of stuff. And
Oh, really?
I'm telling you, this guy, I shouldn't.
No, let's not say in case he gets into trouble.
I don't know. This was years and years and years ago.
Okay, Scruncho the clown.
I want to say it was him. No, he was jacked and he was a good dude and he knew how to fight.
Right.
And this guy came up on stage and I want to say it was him. It was so long ago. How do you forget that? How are you that old? Did you forget?
You get other things in your mind. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're too hard on yourself, Carl. Right. You're too hard on yourself, and you're much too hard on me. I always think that about Rogan. Like, if you watch Rogan, Rogan clearly knows how to fight, and he's jacked, and he's very funny. But if I'm a heckler, I'm thinking, I'm going to let it go, because this guy could kill me.
Oh, no. If you ever see his spinning back heel kick, that alone.
Yeah,
that alone, you would be it'd be liquids only for a long time, drooling out one side of your mouth. It would be a wrap. You would not be the same person.
I'm 55. I can't fight anymore. If I get hit now, I'd have to just start my shell collecting business. Right. I can't do it anymore. Did you ever get into all that when you were younger? Were you a scrapper?
Up until like junior high, but then everybody else hit their growth spurt and I didn't. So then I took a couple of beatdowns, and then that's when I started to do more, be like trying to be funny.
Yeah, more comedy.
But I wasn't. Just once kids got to a certain height and there was just blood and teeth, and it was just like
it changes, right?
I remember this kid, like he couldn't go to school for a week, and he came back and his face was still swollen. I was just like, I don't want to be involved in that. Like, I don't care how much you insult me. I can get past that.
So, that was like that early. You thought, I want to be in comedy? Like,
no, I was just, I don't want people to beat the shit out of me. Right. So I was just more trying to come out of my shell. I gotta be honest with you. Like, you gotta be cut out to really be like a fighter. Like, I would fight, but it's not something I wanted to do. Like, I knew guys that went out wanted to fight.
Yeah, they kind of enjoy it.
Let's go out,
I know.
Let's go out and get into a fight. And it's just like they're just wired. So knowing that those people are out there, you know what I mean? It was just, I just remember the first when I saw that kid, he threw the kid down, jumped on his chest, and just started punching him repeatedly in the face, both hands. And, it stuck with me. It was one of the most violent things I had ever seen at that point in my life, because there was no internet and that type of stuff.
Right.
And hearing the sound of his fist beating this kid's face, and I just remember thinking like, wow, as much as my older brother beats the shit out of me, there's a line he's not going to cross because Dad's coming home.
Right.
And now when you get out here, it's now like Dad's sort of the ref. Your mother's going to break it up. There was just like, this doesn't exist out here. And I knew that I was not going to fare well. I just knew it. I was just like, I'm going to do okay in a couple, and then I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I think I'm all set on that.
It didn't sing to me. Did you wanted to be a rock star then? Was that your thing?
I don't know what I wanted. I was just
wanted out?
I don't know what I was. I was just trying to avoid humiliation. Is pretty much what that was.
So stand-up comedy.
I was. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, figure that one out. I was just basically, literally baby stepping my way through my entire like school existence. After a while, where I was just like, I just wanted to. I wanted to be there, but nobody see me. I just wanted to be there. I didn't have to be the center of attention or whatever. I would crack jokes in class and stuff like that, but I was very introverted. Very introverted.
I'm always kind of fascinated by, like, have you ever been in therapy?
Yeah, I did that. I did that, and then stopped, and then did it again, then haven't gone in a long time.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. But I did this, the whole idea of, you think of your early days in stand-up and how...
early days.
Well, if you think of your early days.
The great early days.
Back in the days when it was just me and 4 sheep. But you think your early days in it, and how terrified. I remember being terrified, like physically shaking, and not really being able to do it, and failing at it, and yet still going back and doing it again. I think, what the hell is wrong with a human being that you fail so badly at something and you go and do it again? And I've never encountered any stand-up that's any good who's not failed at it pretty badly early on.
Right. I never got like fearful. I was more nervous. Like, I'd be so nervous that it would affect my performance, and I'd be going too fast, and I'd be sweating, all this stuff when I started out. But I never had, I was afraid before I did it. But once I called up and committed, the first open mic, I'm going to do this. Right. Then it was just like, all right, I didn't even think I'm not backing out of this. It's like I signed up. I'm going to do it. So then it was more about just the somersaults and the butterflies and the shaking of the hands. But it was nervousness, more so than like fear. Like, fear was watching that kid get his face literally rearranged. Right. And, that was fear. Like, oh God, it was like nauseating, but like the stand-up was just like ridiculous nervousness.
I got that, and I remember thinking as well that I can't. I mean, when you get the first laugh, it kind of stays with you. I think there's something about when it works even a little bit, it's so fucking addictive.
I couldn't believe I was in the world. Yeah. When once I started to get to know people, and then I was doing open mics, and I was like an open micer, I couldn't believe that, taking that mic out of the mic stand was the coolest thing ever to me, because I had always loved comedians, but I didn't realize that was something that I wanted to do until I was, for a long time. And, but that was I don't know, I always felt that. And then I remember one of my open micer friends got to the point where he quit his day job. I remember both of us just sitting there talking about it, and I was just like, dude, what's it like? Because I knew eventually I was going to be able to do it. It was just like, yeah. He's like, dude, I just woke up, because he's still living at home with his parents. So I just remember he's just like, man, I was just thinking like, I'm going to have some toast. I never forget that. And I was just like, that's so like, and there was something about being a class clown, and those people who were funny and everything. There was this freedom to it, and I just loved it with stand-up. That there was this thing that you didn't have to have a day job, and that you could just go see. Seinfeld always talks about that. Hey, you want to go see a movie? It's like you're just playing hooky. Yeah, and you're just sitting watching all these poor bastards go into work. I always have empathy for them, because I had a job, and that has never. I bring that up at least at this my age now, probably once every 6 months. I'll be hanging with the comic in the middle of the day, and we go do something. Go smoke a cigar, go to see a movie or whatever. And I just say, dude, you realize it's 2:00 on a Wednesday right now.
That's the only time I can handle going seeing a movie now.
How great is this?
Yeah, I know. It's great.
How fucking great is it? For all of the crap and people trying to, run up on stage and all of that stuff, like the payoff beyond, all the fucking, you can sell out a theater. The biggest one is is you can go to the movies at like 2 PM.
It is a great
on
gig.
a Wednesday.
It's a great gig. Do you ever experience nervousness now? You ever get it anymore?
I had nervousness this morning. I did a gig for the California Highway Patrol. They asked me to come down. They were giving out awards. They were honoring people that had passed away. It's, the guys who ride the motorcycles, so
right.
It's extremely dangerous. Forget about if you're trying to chase criminals too on them. So I was there, and I came walking in, and it was a big banquet hall. And I'm looking around, and it's couples, and there's a couple of kids there. Ugh. And I'm just thinking, wait a minute. Why did you book me? And I was like, any language restrictions? He's like, well, there are kids here. And then they started, after the national anthem, then they honored the police officers that passed. Ugh. Everyone's doing a moment of silence. They played taps.
Yeah.
Oh. And then the guys walked out with the flag, and then I was just sitting
and
there.
Now some comedy.
No, they didn't do that to me.
Didn't do that, okay.
It was the greatest gig. So then I was kind of like going like, okay, I've been doing it long enough. I was just like, all right. What am I opening with? The lesbian I saw walking into the restaurant that I've been opening with, I can't open with that now. I did ask. I go, can I do a bit about this lesbian? I said, nah. And he goes, no, we got gay people. We can't, we don't need a problem. I was like, all right. So I just sort of like, so I was kind of walking around just sort of thinking what I was going to do, because he asked me if I wanted to sit at the table. I needed to walk around to think what I was going to do to get my energy up. And then he goes, are you nervous? And I laughed. I go, no, man. I just got to figure out how I'm going to navigate this. So they gave out some more awards. I mean, these are literally heroes. These guys putting their lives on the line. So then they bring me up, and as much as I was like, I don't know what's going to happen here, I definitely recorded. Like, I got to record this, because if this goes off the rails, I got to play this for my wife. I would never upload it or anything like that, but I would play it for my wife. So I went on stage, and I ended up having like the best time, and I enjoyed working clean. And I did a Hillary Clinton joke. It killed. I did this Trump thing. It got a little quieter. And I made fun of the fact that, like they wear blue ties. I was like, I thought you guys were liberals or whatever. I'm not saying that they all voted for Trump or whatever, but it ended up being like the challenge of it was like really cool. And then they were like the greatest guys. And I kept joking that the reason why I did it, I was like, you can't know enough cops. You can't know enough cops in the city that you live in. But they were this great audience. And, I don't know what I thought it was. I thought it was just going to be cops, and they were going to be half in the bag, hammered. Yeah. And it was going to be like a Knights of Columbus type of gig, but they were all dressed up. I forgot that they were honoring people and everything. So it was like the commissioner was there. So, it ended up being like this great gig. And I've since emailed, and I was just like, anytime you want me to come down, like I really had a good time. So
that's cool. Dom Herrera was here last week, and he was talking about you. And he said an interesting
What did
thing.
he say to
No,
me?
it was good. It was. You'll like this. You'll like this.
Cocksucker.
Actually, you won't like it because it's complimentary and it'll make you uncomfortable.
Pasta eating so and so.
But he said you were always. He said he was always good. He said Bill was always good. He's always a good comic. He said, but something's happened. And remember, he said this.
Yeah,
he said the past couple of years, he's fucking great. It's like something magical. I remember he used this
Started
phrase.
talking about my dick.
He said something magical.
That was the breakthrough.
No, it's the magical. You've always talked about your dick.
No, but this is more the thinking man's dick jokes. That's what I'm doing to set myself apart from the pack.
No, but it's an interesting thing because something has happened to you in the past couple of years. You're better than you've ever been.
Well, thank you.
Well,
coming from another comedian, that's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, and it's uncomfortable, and I appreciate
Not
that.
bombing in front of the cops was pretty cool too. I've had a great day here.
But what is there anything cognizant? Are you aware of anything changing?
What I did was I did. There was a few like weaknesses. Versus the onstage me versus the offstage me. Stuff that I could do to get laughs offstage that I couldn't do on stage. So I just decided to start working on those. The same way if you were playing basketball, if you couldn't go to your left, you start going to your left. You play with guys that are better than you, or if you're learning an instrument, you try to learn a new lick or a new riff or something like that. And just keep doing it. But like I am, once you start selling tickets, then it becomes the game within the game.
Right.
Like, and then you just sort of, you put out a special, it just becomes like, okay, what can I do? Okay, I did that. What can I do in this next special that takes that and does it a little differently, or maybe hopefully progresses it to like another level, so I don't, at the end of my career have like, he did 10 specials at the exact same level, the exact same style. I mean, there's something to be said about that. There's certain bands like that, like AC/DC.
Sure.
One of the things I saw with them one time was hilarious. It's like this guy was trying to give him shit. He said some number. He said, like, you guys have put out 15 of the exact same album. And they were like, that's bullshit. We've put out 16 of the exact same album, whatever like that. So they just knew, you can have, like, what you work. But what you have, works, you can stick with it. But, like, it was something that I wanted to, I wanted to see how good I could get. And what I've learned is you're better than even if you push yourself.
Right.
So if you really start to push yourself and try to, like, just be aware off stage, if you're doing something that, there's so much shit that you do off stage as a comedian just because you're not on stage and you're comfortable and you're also completely uncensored. Like, there was stuff that I would do in the car with my wife. I'd just do, like, these one-way conversations where you couldn't hear the other person, but you knew what they were saying.
Right.
It was something that I saw, a lot of guys, specifically Pryor, doing.
Right.
And I'd be doing it in the car, and my wife would be dying laughing, and I would try to do it on stage, and the second it started going bad, I bailed. And I did that for fucking 10 years of trying to learn this new skill that I knew I could do because I'm doing it off stage. I couldn't, and I would bail after like 2 seconds. And then one day I just decided, fuck this. I'm staying with this and I'm bombing with this till I learn how to do it. And it was like within 10 days, I was like, 10 times better than, I was bailing after 2 seconds, but I'd already seen the growth. And then that just set off this whole thing of like, well, what about doing this? What about doing that? And then I kind of noticed, dude, you got like 2 different voices you do in your act. Why don't you try to expand on those? So I've had a couple more of those. And if you just, act out some stuff a little more, then what happens when you have those different skill sets, when you go to take on a subject, you then have different tools that you can sort of mix and match. It's like when you're in the kitchen, like a pussy.
Yeah.
And you start getting...
You'll never let that go, man. Let it go, man.
I loved it, though. It was endearing to me. I'm from the East Coast. That meant you liked me. But it's the same kind of thing.
Do you think that, because you said a word there which I think is really important. You said the word comfort. And when you were talking about, you started to experiment, you started to use things that you knew you could do, but you're a little scared to use.
Right.
Do you think that success, like when you start selling tickets as opposed to be, and now you're headliner.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the club,
but first.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, when you're selling the tickets, when they're coming to see you, you've got permission a little bit from the audience. It's like, all right, I'm going to try it. They're here to see me. They already like me.
Yeah, but that kind of haunts me.
Yeah?
Because I feel like I was a better comic when they didn't, because I had to get them. And I had a show I did recently. I just dropped in at the Improv, and Earthquake was headlining, and it was mainly a black crowd, and most of them didn't know who I was.
Right.
So I had to prove myself, and it was the most fun set I've had this year. It was just like, oh, fuck, I remember this.
But is that, were you funnier, or was it just you enjoyed the difficulty more? I mean, I don't know if it makes you funnier because it's a harder show to do, or it's more...
I don't either. Yeah. I don't either. But I will say that what I liked about it was that, just that those years where you just like, so much of your stand-up career is just one impossible situation after another. And you're just standing there trying to do the math. Like, how the fuck am I going to get these people? We don't have a microphone. Is that going to be a problem?
Can you do 10 minutes while the band changes?
Yeah.
No, I can't. They're just going to take the instruments off and on the stage. No, that's not how it
and
works.
as you're doing it, they're coming in there tuning up. Yeah. Done gigs in hallways.
Yeah.
Hallways, areas that met in a hallway, cafeterias at like 1 p.m.
Sure.
The college kids have no idea there's going to be a show, and they just go, we have a comedian, his name's Bill Burr, here he is. And then you just walk up there and have to do an hour.
Sure.
Just an hour
I know.
of humiliation. I would always say to myself, in an hour and 1 minute, this is going to be over. And I'm going to be in my car driving away. And that's what I would do. And the part that I hated was the waiting to go on.
Yeah, I still do.
Once you go on, it's the hourglass has been turned over.
Yeah.
The sand's starting to fall. And every second you're up there, whatever hit you take, that's one less one you got to take.
Yeah,
and
no, it's true.
I used to always call it my college agent afterwards, flipping out. going, I'm fucking done with these things. I'm never fucking doing this again. I don't give a shit. And he'd be like, all right. And then he knew I needed the money. And then he'd call me up and he'd be like, Billy, Scott Bass. That was my agent. Scott Bass calling. I know you said you're not going to do this, but I do have a nooner. I'm going to build around it. And, by then I'd be at home. And I cooled off. It was a couple weeks later from being on the road, and rent was coming. I needed the money. And he would be like, all right, it's going to pay $700. It's like in the middle of Iowa for $700, all inclusive.
You give me some of that
after taxes. Yeah, that comes out to about $175. So, I would literally go, you motherfucker. I go, all right, okay. But I have to be able to say whatever I'm going to. Absolutely. I go, are they going to know? They're going to know there's a show and all that stuff. So, we gradually, got like some better gigs out of it. But, I do want to get back to that. What haunts me is the fact that I have noticed times where I can just sort of stop and smile, or I can laugh, and they're laughing because they know my laugh from the podcast, going, "Oh, that's his laugh," and I'll get a laugh there, and I'm just kind of like, that's the kind of thing. I will be on stage going, "Am I getting soft now? Am I going to be that guy?"
You earn a little bit. Look, it's like if you go and see a band. And, they play a song that you like. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, or if a guitar, like if Brian May's guitar sounds like Brian May's guitar always does, but it's a new song, that doesn't matter. He's earned that. It's his guitar sound. Or Steve Jones and the Pistols.
That's why I always hate when they say that. When they say he's become a parody of himself. It's like, how do you parody yourself?
That's bullshit. That's just people saying shit on their blogs. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You don't become a parody of yourself. You just keep going.
Yeah, how can you rip off yourself?
It's not possible. It's not possible.
According to these blogs.
Well, I think that there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's an interesting thing that you look at. I mean, if you look at the internet, what it does with criticism, on the one hand, it's removed the power of critics. Cause, there used to be like a guy who gives you a bad review in the New York Times. He'd shut you down, man. No one would go. And now that doesn't really happen anymore. But now everyone is a critic. So people write scathing reviews, but nobody fucking reads them. Except the guy. It cracks
me up when I go overseas and these critics always show up, and it's just like, it's like, first of all, the show is already on sale and done.
Yeah.
And then secondly, everybody in the crowd now does your job.
Right.
So you're going to sit there. By the time yours comes out, I've already left town. So
it's such an old-fashioned thing. I know it's such a weird thing. I remember I've had a couple of those, and they're usually even the good ones are a little snippy.
I have never. That's why I don't read them ever.
Yeah,
they have an inability to go wire to wire. They just can't say, you know what? I enjoyed the show. He's worth the money.
Yeah,
go down there. But I still wish he had touched more on this. Or they always make fun of how I look. When the pasty bald, freckled cunt took the stage. It was a masterful performance. Like, even if they said masterful performance, they would still have to trash the way you look.
Yeah, no, I get it too. It's like, using the Scottish brogue. I'm like, I'm not using the fucking Scottish brogue.
I'm from there.
This is where I'm from. I didn't put this on. This isn't an act. The material's the material. I'm not doing a character. I'm doing me.
Oh, you've become a parody of yourself.
Oh, fuck you, Bill. I mean, really. And with that, I am so glad you came in. Bill, it's lovely to finally meet you. You're a giant among men. And let me ask you this.
What's that?
If you were listening to a performance of a mystery on Audible, what do you think you'd feel?
Well, I think I would feel scared.
Exactly.
I would wonder who did it.
You'd feel mysterious things on your commute to work.
That would be great.
For example,
that wouldn't affect my
no, really. You're going to see a movie
right?
in the afternoon. It doesn't make any sense at all. You just stop trying to sell Audible to Bill Burr. It's not going to work.
No, yeah. So,
I need inaudible.
Oh, okay.
No.
Things you'll feel as you listen to Audible, things like goosebumps or your pulse pounding or the rush of adrenaline. Because with a performance so powerful,
that's the head-on collision you're going to get into because you're paying attention to that rather than driving your car.
Also the thing is, I feel bad because some copywriter who's writing for Audible really worked hard on this to create an atmosphere, and we're just shitting all over it. It's just not fair.
But it's not our
atmosphere.
Let's
try it again.
But you're acting like he's a good person just because he wrote that.
Yeah, he might be a dick. You're right.
There you go.
Let's assume he's a dick. All right, we'll get through it. You may not actually enjoy your commute, which is a mystery in itself. Rotten joke. The feeling is audible.
I just spit gum out.
Experience it for yourself with great mysteries like Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty, Black Echo by Michael Kill, Trainspotting by Irvin Welsh, or Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris.
The Marabou Stock Nightmares.
I think that was that?
That's the same guy. That's Irvin Welsh.
I thought you were doing a Pakistani accent. No, I was surprised by
no,
that.
Look, if you did a Boston accent, I might give you a little leeway.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even try.
Read the copy, it's great.
No, I'll wait until you
fucking
go.
skirt-wearing cunt.
Let me get through this. Start a 30-day trial at audible.com, and your first one is free. With Audible, you get the largest audiobook performances,
like drug dealers,
the largest library, and the most exclusive content.
First taste is free.
First one's free. Yeah, you want to hear a book, buddy? You'll feel something, and the feeling is audible. Learn more at audible.com. Thanks.